Welcome to Nick on Knicks, where your boy N.I.C rants about the latest Knicks game. He almost got us. We went up to Canada, to Toronto. We faced R.J. Barrett, our former prodigal son, who has been balling back in his hometown up in the north in the six. And R.J. had a very, very, very good game. And I was one of those people who was pro RJ, though I did start to tire of his different deficiencies. Overall, as a player, I was pro RJ when he was with the Knicks. I initially was a little bit skeptical about the trade, but really my main concern was the giving up of Quickly. And throughout this game, we got to see the best of RJ, and at the very end, we got to see the worst of RJ. And we will get into that as we go along. I mean, just from the jump, man, his stroke looks different. Pause. But yeah, he looked much more comfortable and much more willing to put up a quick, jump shot without any type of hesitation, no type of hitch, and it looked smooth. And it was going in. I mean, you could just see that RJ's got a different type of confidence since he's been up there, and he's playing very, very well. The numbers do not lie. All of RJ's numbers are way up this year, and it's not just a usage thing where it's like, they have no Quickly most of the time. He's also played pretty efficiently. He's up to 23.3 points, 6.6 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 45.8% from the field, and he's been around the looks like his 3-point percentage might have fallen off quite a bit here recently. RJ, yeah, he's down to 34% from three. That field goal percentage was up around 50, and that free throw percentage was 3-point percentage was up around 40 not very long ago. So RJ's definitely cooling off, and as the commentators were saying, RJ has had fantastic numbers at home, tough numbers on the road. They are 1-11 on the road. So that means that they are now 6-7 at home. And this is a team that's not to be trifled with. Again, the Knicks, they play a team that is got lesser talent than they do, but they let them get involved. They let them start hitting shots early. And quite frankly, if Scotty Barnes doesn't go down with an injury, I don't know if we win this game, because he was killing us. He was killing us, and that was a lot to do with lackluster defense that was letting him get wide open threes. And then, of course, as those go down, guess what? The rest of them start to fall too. Towns and Campaign were back in action tonight. Towns, from the very beginning, you could see that, Towns on the floor, it just equals more space and opportunity for everybody. Fantastic passer that he is. It's also the attention that he draws from as far away as you must respect him. And that led to 6 assists for him and an overall more open floor on the offensive end for the New York Knicks than we've seen when he hasn't been able to play. But to start off the game, there's too many turnovers from the Knicks. Jalen Brunson being careless with the ball. This is 2 games in a row. Last game, he had 5 turnovers. This game, I want to say he had 4. Where are you at, Brunson? Oh, only 3 turnovers. I'm almost sure they said 4 at some point during the game, but no, only 3 turnovers for Brunson. And to start off, it's that same story that we've been seeing. Too many wide open threes. Now they're getting offensive rebounds. These are the hustle parts of the game that the Knicks have not been able to do on a consistent basis. And we saw that consistency waver within this one ball game. There were certain points where it looked like, hey, we had it turned up. Let's go. And then here comes an 11-0 run. And, we're looking like the first quarter of so many games that we've played so far this season. But this game, it wasn't just the first. It was throughout the game. Luckily, we were able to close it out. And we'll get into why here in a little bit. But the first quarter, man, it was just like, come on, what are we doing? And then, I see when Precious gets in, I thought it was really funny. There's one point where Brunson passed him the ball, and he didn't even turn around and look at the basket. And Brunson was screaming at him, and then he finally took it and just kind of dribbled and put up a little floater and made it. And as he was coming back, he was tapping his chest saying, "My bad." And Brunson was like, "Yo, put it up." Precious came in and gave us good minutes for KAT. As much as Tibbs sang the praises of Sims, Sims had a couple tough stretches, didn't enter the game in the previous two, and then tonight was a DMP. Hey, man, as much as he's had good things to say after the game, it was 2 games ago where Sims came in and he just had a brutal stretch. And Tibbs said after the game, "Hey, man, you got to come in and be ready to play." And then this previous game where we lose to the Pistons, and again, another brutal stretch. And now you don't even start the second half with KAT out, and we got Precious in the game, and you get absolutely no burn at all in tonight's game against the Raptors. So we'll see if Sims is able to work himself back into the rotation. But Precious looks good, man. Precious gives you blocks at the rim. He gives you the ability to go up strong and finish with a powerful dunk that's not going to get blocked by anybody. He gives you defensive rotations and switchability. And he's obviously only going to continue to get more comfortable coming back, only playing his second game of this season after hurting his hamstring in the last game of the preseason. So Precious is going to continue to give us good minutes. Sims, you out of here. Sorry, Sims. Sorry. Yo, if you're watching, get in the comments. Tell me what you think about this win tonight. We give it to RJ. RJ has a good game, but we get the last laugh, and the Knicks get out of Toronto with a dub. Next game up will be NBA Cup against the Atlanta Hawks on Wednesday. Talk to me. How we feeling? How we feeling about the Knicks' ability to win this NBA Cup, and do you even care? I think the players care. And I think the players care, and I always want to see wins. I thought that tonight, OG Anunoby, I'd really like to see that corner three start being a little bit more automatic, like it has been. There was a couple times where I was like, we need this one, and he wasn't able to knock it down, but he continues to make plays defensively. Now, let me keep it real. RJ was kind of busting his ass for a little while. And throughout the game, there was different times where he was guarding RJ, and RJ was getting to his left, and it was like OG and the rest of the Knicks all forgot that RJ is left-handed. He's one of the most left-handed dominant players, or strong hand dominant players I've ever seen. We know that from our days on the Knicks, and tonight we were just letting this guy get directly to his left hand, get to the rim, and RJ was finishing, man. He was finishing. He was making plays for his teammates. I'm happy for RJ. He looked good, but we'll talk about the end of the game, and it's a small little sample size that shows you the best of RJ and the worst of RJ. To me, you have Towns with the huge game tonight. You're starting to get to a point where when he has a game like this, it's not even, it barely registers how big of a game it is. But he did have 24 points, 5 big points in the last minute, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. So that's a huge game from Karl Anthony Towns, who was gingerly and a little bit gimpy all night. Every time he fell to the floor, he was getting up slow. He had, the one collision with Barnes where Barnes steps on his foot. They both were, obviously worse for the wear after that. Barnes clearly more. He was writhing in pain. He was rolling around. He was talking to himself. And then he ended up having to leave the game and never returned. And Barnes, since he's been back, has been playing well. He was shooting the three well tonight. And, goggles and all, he's a weird dude, but that he can hoop. He can hoop. I think he's a good compliment to RJ as well. I'm interested to see what it looks like when Quickly comes back. And now, because Quickly's a guy who needs the ball in his hands. He needs to be getting up shots to be effective. So I wonder what that does to RJ, because this trade of him and OG is the perfect fit for the Knicks, because OG, you really don't want him dribbling more than like 3 or 4 times in a possession. And he's super efficient and can put up big numbers scoring and do a bunch of different things without the ball, and with such, lack of need to have it in his hands and to dribble. Whereas RJ, on the other hand, he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. You can't just stick RJ in the corner and ask him to cut and make moves off of, any type of mess ups or any type of, out of position that the defense is. RJ don't have that in his game. He needs the ball in his hands. And with Brunson on the team, that wasn't going to happen. So that's why this trade made sense for our Knicks. And you got to see tonight that RJ is still a good player, a borderline very good player. But when it comes down to it, you saw a lot of Knicks games when RJ was one of our best players, where we would get close and there would be a play or two that we would make that would give you a feeling like we got it, but we would come up just a little bit short. And that's exactly what you saw from the Toronto end tonight. So I thought OG had a very, very tough go of it for quite some time, But when it came down to it, he was able to make the biggest defensive play in the clutch. Him and Karl Anthony Towns converge on RJ. He slaps the ball away, and then we go down. Bodega Cat hits the three. Good win for the Knicks, man. Good win for the Knicks. That first quarter, midway through, I thought the defense started to turn up a little bit. We started to stop giving up so many wide open threes. This is one of our better stretches. I think we closed the quarter on a 15-4 run. I thought after Towns, the other player who had a huge impact on offense was Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges ends up with 23 points. He ends up being 5 of 8 overall from behind the arc, 9 of 14 from the field. 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He's always right around those numbers. But he gets a little bit more in the point total tonight, that 23. And some of those threes he hit, especially in the second half, some in the fourth quarter, were huge. How many points did Bridges have in the fourth quarter alone? 9 points in the fourth. Karl Anthony Towns led us with 10. And Brunson gave us 4. Deuce gave us 2. Campaign gave us 2. So fourth quarter, when it counted, our top tier players, our stars, they stepped up. Is RJ, especially with no Scotty Barnes, with no Quickly, he's their guy. So they're going to him down the stretch. And RJ gets a fantastic, driving finish, gets up, feels like he got fouled. He has something to say, I think, in the direction of the Knicks bench. And then Brunson, 4-point play. After coming in from the locker room, he stepped on a fan's foot. It gave me flashbacks of Melo stepping on the ref, man. And you could tell that Brunson was very upset. He was so demonstrative in how clearly he was annoyed by the situation, and he felt, and he was hurt. He was showing so visibly that he was hurt, which you rarely see out of Brunson. So that made me very, very nervous. Then he goes back, he sits on the bench for a little while, towel over his head. Then he goes back to the locker room, and you're like, oh, man. And then he comes back out, and he kind of steadies the ship a little bit there in the fourth. And then the 4-point play maybe is the deciding play of the game, just because that's what gave the Knicks a lead late, where as long as they just didn't do some dumb shit and they were able to get decent possessions and get a couple stops, they were going to win. He had the fantastic pass on the pick and roll. The pick and roll with him and Karl Anthony Towns is just deadly. And he had the fantastic pass where he makes sure he holds the ball, continues to pull out the big man, leans around him, fires the bounce pass into Towns, and Towns gets the layup. Then we get the stop on RJ. Like I said, Towns and OG converge, and then Towns hits a 3, and the game's over. Well done, boys. Way to not let, because, man, you have RJ having a big night and we lose up in Toronto, and that's just a sour, especially after the loss to the Pistons. Come on, man. This game had a lot of moments throughout where I was like, yo, they better not fuck around and blow this shit. Come on, guys. And we were down for most of the game. I think we took a lead in the fourth quarter, and it was our first lead since this, like, early in the second. Maybe even the first. I'm not sure. They said it on the broadcast. We were down and fighting back most of the game. We felt like we had taken control. Then, like I said, they went on that 11-0 run. And from there, we were kind of just fighting. But we found a way to fight back, and we found a way to get it done. And I thought down the end, it's like RJ, you make that one shot, but that second time where he goes, first of all, you could just see how left-hand dominated he is. And it was a force. It was a force in traffic. It was an easy no call just because you're wild and trying to. It's not a strong enough attempt for that juncture of the game. And we've seen that from RJ as Knicks fans. We'll make the plays, but just not quite enough to get you over the hump. And you look at the Knicks stars in Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, and those guys, they're going to get you over the hump. That's the difference. Those are two, in my opinion, superstars. RJ is a budding star. But I'm telling you, I like what I see out of him, man. I feel good for him. I'm happy for RJ. And Bridges Bridges really, she shot the ball well. Obviously, 5 of 8 from 3 is fantastic. There's still some times, man, where I just feel like he needs to wake the fuck up and stop with the silly bullshit, the silly like passes and jumping up and leaving his feet. Sometimes that could be so frustrating with him, man. I thought he played pretty good defense, though. Bridges did not stick out to me as somebody who wasn't, sometimes I can't say I was keen on him a ton, but he didn't stick out to me as somebody who was like, damn, like he's not getting it done tonight at defensive end. No, I didn't feel that way at all about him. Once again, Precious off the bench gave us great minutes, great energy, 6 boards in 16 minutes, 7 points, and just a live body. Deuce comes in, he shoots 2 of 4 from behind the arc, 3 of 6 overall, had a nice layup, reverse at one point. 5 assists for Deuce. That's nice. We like that part. Yeah, I didn't even realize he was dropping dimes like that. Brunson had 20 points, 11 assists, 4 rebounds, 7 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3-point, and obviously that huge 4-point play that is arguably the best play of the game. But Brunson with the 2 of 5 from free throws. I mean, come on. Guy, you're killing me with the free throws, man. Let's go. I always look up and he's got a really good percentage, and I'm like, I don't understand why, because when I watch the games, I'm like, yo, how many fucking free throws does this guy miss? But Brunson, I know percentage-wise he's going to end up always being good. I guess just because I watch and it's so visible to me that I feel like sometimes he's missing a bunch of free throws. But the Knicks as a whole, man, 12 of 19. After last game having a tough night from the free throw line, we're number 1 in percentage. I don't know if we've dipped down and we're not that anymore. We were 29th in attempts last time I checked, but these last 2 games, it's been a struggle from the line. We got to be better. We got to figure that out. I mean, against a team like Atlanta, those free throws are going to come back to haunt you, as Clyde always says. 63% is not going to get it done. Got to be better there. Got to be better. But let's look at RJ's numbers as a whole. He's 30 points, 13 of 24, 3 of 7 from behind the arc. He makes 1 of his 2 from the charity stripe, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Only a +4. That's surprising. I would think it would be higher than that. I thought RJ played pretty well, man. Podol, he didn't really do much. If Grady Dick was hotter from 3, we'd have had a problem. He's 1 of 5. I just felt like there was multiple times where I saw him with a wide open 3, and I'm like, oh, God damn, but they weren't dropping. But overall, as a team, they shoot 43% from behind the arc. Obviously, that's a great percentage. That's 43% on, I'm sorry, they shoot 37%, which ain't bad, but ain't 43. My bad. Yeah, they shoot 40. They shoot 37% from the line on 35 attempts. The Knicks, on the other hand, shoot 42% on 40 attempts. When that happens, you should win. You should win. It's just that tonight the missed free throws kind of hurt us. If you look at our point, if you would think with those numbers, you would think that if the Knicks shot 42% on 40 attempts from 3, typically we're not at that 113. We're in the 120s, maybe the 130s. But the lack of free throw shooting and just, there was a lot of not only turnovers, but offensive rebounds where it just felt like we gave them a lot of extra possessions. The Knicks tonight, overall, only 13 turnovers. No, I'm sorry, only 10. That's really good. Felt like a lot more, man. It felt like a lot more as compared to 12 for the Raptors. So it was a pretty cleanly played game. If you go and you look at Mets heavy in on Garrett Crochet trade. Whoa, CP with the letting me know what's going on. All right, man. I didn't see that. I saw earlier that like the Mets may be interested. I didn't know that we were heavy in on the trade. If you're a Yankee fan and you're watching this, I'm sorry. It's Soto all day. Uncle Stevie, you the man. We not done. All right, let's get back to the Knicks. Also, my man CP in the chat says OG blocking RJ and then KAT dagger is beautiful. Absolutely. KAT was a little bit gimpy all day, but he got it done. He hit the big shot when it was necessary. I thought he had some great plays on defense, especially down the stretch where, he was the one that helped on RJ, that allowed OG to come and recover and get the block. And I thought that he came up with some big rebounds as well. And it's just so clear how much more open and free space the floor is when he's there. It was evident within the first couple minutes of this game. But Bridges, hey man, we needed that shooting from him tonight. We needed it, and he provided it, and it was vital. And like I said, he did not jump out to me as, a defensive liability in the slightest. Just stop being so loosey-goosey with the ball sometimes. Precious had 2 big blocks to close the third. I thought that Precious, man, he just gave us energy tonight. And it's good that we have another player that Tibbs can trust, because, you see tonight, we only played 8 guys. And if Precious, if Precious wasn't available, then, you throw Sims in for a couple minutes there, maybe, but he ain't playing a whole 16, and ain't nobody else playing. All right. So we needed, in that close game, in that tight game, especially coming off of a loss, Tibbs was really hungry to get that win. And we needed all of the minutes that we got from Precious tonight. I thought he was fantastic. Campaign back. Just under 13 minutes for him. He's 1 of 4 from behind the arc, 3 of 6 overall. He had a nifty finish as well with the right hand. Campaign, what do you have? No, 1 assist for Campaign, 1 rebound. Campaign, I thought he gave us some energy, man. He gave that 1-3 that he hit. It felt like a momentum 3, and Campaign just gives you a certain amount of energy. He did foul a guy on a 3-point shot, gave up a 4-point play. I think he missed the free throw. But we like to see him be a little bit smarter than that, and it was an obvious foul. It was silly. I'd like to see him be a little smarter than that, but man, Campaign has been a godsend for this team. We really, really missed him when he's missed these last 2 games. So hopefully whatever's going on with him and the elbow or whatever it is, we get that figured out, because we need Campaign. We need his energy off the bench. We need him to be able to make sure that we get those couple extra minutes for Brunson. And Brunson's minute totals weren't that high. Remember, he did have to go to the locker room. The fan, I look at the replay. The fan didn't stick his foot out or anything like that. Brunson's got to be a little bit less careless with where he's at on the floor right there, not step on a fan's foot. I mean, he was all the way back up by the fans. Come on, Brunson. Be a little smarter than that. We need you, brother. You hope that this isn't something that stiffens up overnight. Obviously, we have the big game on Wednesday, the first round of the NBA Cup against the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young, who have been playing good basketball here recently. We cannot go into that game and mess around. We've already lost to them once this season. We should be focused. Tibbs should have their attention, and we're better than them. Let's go get it done. I still don't like them. I don't like Trae Young. I don't like any. Go get it done. Ah, man, the RJ, letting RJ go left was driving me bananas. Clyde is always saying, you got to take away his left hand. Like, he's not only a lefty, but he's the most lefty of all time, bro. Make him go right, make him go right, make him go right. He did make a right-handed layup tonight, though. I do remember that. Oh, man, that Brunson 4-point play. Then the beautiful pass to KAT for the layup off the pick and roll. KAT and OG, they converge on RJ, and then KAT 3-ball. I mean, what a stretch to win the game. The Knicks with a win to start out this week. Now they will be at home in the Garden on Wednesday against the Atlanta Hawks. I expect them to come out with an attention to detail. And if they don't, the Hawks are one of those teams that can get hot and run you out the building. So they better come correct. I have all the faith that they will. It's been a great day as a Mets fan who got to revel in the beauty of bringing in Juan Soto and listening to all the Yankees fans on sports talk radio and in all the comment sections everywhere just cry about, they don't want him now, or, they can't believe that we let the Mets take a player from us. The full gamut of responses. And for me, as a Mets fan, it was all beautiful. I'm sorry, this is not a Mets podcast, but I have to revel in my glory a little bit. We deserve this. We lived through the whale ponds, okay? And then the Knicks, they play with their food a little bit. They make it a tough one, but they give me some exciting moments at the end. Me and the kids, when Brunson hit the 3, we're going crazy. When KAT hit the 3, we were going crazy at the crib. And the Knicks get a dub. So at the end of the day, we'll take a win. The Knicks now move to 15-9. Raptors drop to 7-18. We will see you on Wednesday after the Hawks.